Hello, and welcome to Right for America Issues that Unite, Don't Ignite. I am your host, Cindy Gross, known to many of you as the Jewess Patriot, but you don't have to be Jewish to be a part of our show. Before I begin, I just want to have a disclosure that the views presented on this show are not necessarily the views of our sponsors, the America First Warehouse, WGBB Radio, Cindy's Corners Productions, and our media outlets. And I just want you to be aware of that. But this is a place where people have the freedom to show their First Amendment free speech, and they have a right to say things. The second thing I like to remind you is that you can stream us anytime, anywhere on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Rumble, Jewish Podcast out of Israel, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has really been a very big week, and we are continuing on our show with Jewish Heritage Month. And I want to start off by sharing with you some photos of a recent event I attended that was sponsored by the Israeli Consulate of New York. And you will recognize many of the faces from the Israeli government, from the American government, and public personalities. I think they're coming on as we're talking, but they will be on shortly. Additionally, as many of you know, we open up each and every show with my pearls of wisdom because my name is Zisel Perel, which means sweet pearl in Yiddish. I'd like to talk to you about Jewish Heritage Month in a different light, as Jewish Heritage Month highlights American Jewish culture, education, awareness, and coalition building. This week, President Trump, and it's only Tuesday, but we already started with executive orders honoring National Police Week and National Nurses Week. I can't begin to tell you how many of you know Jews who are in the police force and are nurses. One of the best ways you can celebrate Jewish Heritage Month and all of these historic highlights from our president is by getting to meet people who are Jewish, who are your law enforcement. Say thank you to them. Work with them. With the rise of anti-Semitism around the country in alarming numbers, it's not just Jews that are affected by this. And I cannot thank you enough for those that stand up to protect Jews in the police force, and to those Jewish people who are in the police force. Thank you for being both a proud American Jew and a proud police officer. And the same goes with nurses. Today, more than ever, you see young nurses that are young, that are Jewish, that are even religious, wearing their wigs and their modest clothes to work. There is nothing more important than caring for the ill, and there are so many throughout history that have been Jewish nurses. You look in the history of the wars, especially World War II and the most modern wars, there were many Jewish nurses, and again, thank you. But it's a great way to do coalition building and Jewish American pride, and it's a great way for people, especially in non-Jewish communities, to really get to learn more about everyday Jewish life in America. And speaking of which, our first guest is here, and not only is he a dear friend, but many of you will recognize him as the legend of the Hanukkah Telethon. Rabbi Pearl has been the leader of the Chabad of Mineola for decades. But he was recently appointed to the Human Rights Commission as the commissioner. And what's beautiful about this program, and he's going to discuss more about it, is that Rabbi Pearl does everything with an open heart for Jews and non-Jews to embrace. And he's going to talk a little bit about it with an upcoming program he's hosting Thursday night. Rabbi Pearl, welcome to Right for America with the Jewish Patriot. And I'm so honored to have you because you are just such an inspiration for so many. And as people are looking at you, they're going to say, I saw that man during Hanukkah dancing with John Voight and with every politician from the left and the right from New York. I mean, you are a national treasure to so many. So thank you so much. We're so honored to have you.
Thank you so much. I hope that you can hear me. Yes, Cindy, I appreciate being on your great show and take the opportunity to thank you for your leadership and inspiration. You've been an amazing example to all of us for so many years, and I'm very honored to be able to join you today, especially during this Jewish Heritage Month.
Well, tell us a little bit about your recent appointment because as we're talking about Jewish Heritage Month, we really also have to talk about the rise of anti Semitism that we haven't seen in years and what is going on in your commission and how you are bringing together Jews and non Jews to work together.
Thank you. Yes, I was recently appointed by the Nassau County Executive, Bruce Blakeman, to join the Human Rights Commission, which meets every month in Nassau County. It's a very, very important responsibility. It falls into three areas, and the reason why I took it up is because, as you said, Cindy, there is a rise of anti-Semitism and hate crimes, and I felt this would be a way to be able to be more proactive in all these areas. So, for those who may not know, Human Rights Commission deals with investigating and resolving discrimination complaints, whether it's unfair treatment at work or housing, elsewhere. Number two, it educates the community in a more proactive way to prevent discrimination to begin with, and also to advocate for policies to make it fair for everybody to have their equal rights. The reason why I took upon this position is because, first of all, I'm a second generation Holocaust survivor, which means my father taught me, came from a background of history where he saw hatred and discrimination, and of course the loss of his family in Auschwitz. So that's also inspired me to always advocate for equality and for, despite what goes on in the community, we can come together and find and feel responsible for each other, for equality and for not to be discriminated against. And all my many years involved in as the Chabad in Nassau County, and then serving on as a chaplain at the Nassau County Jail and many other responsibilities, I felt it was important when they called to join this commission. And if anybody out there is actually feels they're being discriminated, feel free to call the Human Rights Commission, and we'll work on it. But it's really a great honor and responsibility to be part of this and to work together with a wonderful group of other commissioners as well in working together to solve proactively against hatred and anti-Semitism.
Well, first of all, you could call on me if you need any help for anything. It'll be an honor to help you. And this is nothing new for you without the title. For example, you have a very interesting program you are hosting. I have been fortunate enough to attend it. I actually attended it with our next guest together when he was a county legislator. So please share with everybody about your Good Deeds program.
I must tell you, Sydney, more than 30 years ago, we were sitting around it bothered me that all we hear about young men and women, teenagers, is all the negativity. At that time was a Columbine shooting, and sadly all those events. And we decided, I said, you know what? Why do we only focus on the negativity? The only ones who make news in the when they're teenagers in the papers is when something bad goes on. So we created the Good Deed Awards for Long Island teenagers, and literally over the years, all these many years, more than 1,000, 1,500 boys and girls, men and women of all backgrounds, from public school, private school, Catholic schools, Chaminade right here in Mineola. Each year, students are nominated literally for doing good deeds. You hear about the Westinghouse or the big brainy kids, and that's wonderful. They get scholarships and more power to them. Wonderful. At the same time, these wonderful boys and girls are just sitting doing good things. And we, once a year, all the VIPs from communities and leaders and government and and judges come together at our Chabad in Mineola, and we literally spend about 90 minutes listening to good deeds for these boys and girls. And And if I may, Cindy, everybody's welcome to join us this Thursday at 5 p.m. at the Chabad of Mineola for the Good Deed Awards for Long Island teenagers, which is really all part of the idea that we can get together, see the commonality. Our differences are not against us. Our differences are our strengths, because every human being can make a difference in this world.
And it's not just for Jewish children, I should tell them.
Absolutely, it's for everyone, Jewish and non-Jewish, everyone. It has nothing. It's got to do with good deeds. What all of us can do to make this world a better place, and this is what you're doing, Sydney, through your good work in so many different areas. And I very much appreciate the opportunity to share of what goes on here in Nassau County.
So I'm going to get a little personal because you know my feeling towards Chabad, and a lot of people ask, and you mentioned, so around the country, I get a lot of calls from people because they see the anti-Semitism and they've seen a lot of activity around Crown Heights, and they all ask me about Chabad. I mean, they remember Mumbai. Explain to them a little bit if you can. I know this is so hard because this is thousands of years. But tell us a little bit about Chabad and what makes Chabad so special. Because what I always tell people, everybody knows Chabad when they want to go travel and they need a kosher meal, or they want to be someplace for a Sabbath, or they want to even see where a Jew lives in a faraway place. They know there's a Chabad there. They don't know other shuls, but they always look up Chabad first. So tell them a little bit about the beauty of Chabad.
In a nutshell, we're talking about a few hundred years of history, but began with the Baal Shem Tov, came about at a time when the Jewish community was very much down after terrible persecutions and all kinds of false things going on, and the Baal Shem Tov began the Hasidic movement. Chabad is one of the branches of the Hasidic movement that has gone through many generations. Most recently was the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, and the philosophy of Chabad is based on the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, of love a fellow neighbor like yourself. Always look for the soul in everybody else, and know that none of us, whoever we are just here to hang out for a while. We all have a mission and to make a difference in this world. So even though we dress rather conservatively with the black hat and the beard, etc., but the teachings of being able to reach out and to recognize the good that is so inherent in this world, that we can make a difference. And every one of us doesn't, you have to be a rabbi with a corner office someplace. Every single human being can be an ambassador to bring goodness in this world. And especially during this time with anti-Semitism, especially on campuses and other places, when you stand up strong of who we are, the Rebbe's teachings were shine light and brightness, and automatically the darkness will disappear. And that's what we try to do all the time, and help those who may be unaffiliated. And that's why wherever you travel, or wherever it is in Long Island, we have more than 30 centers, all reaching out and making a difference in the community.
Well, your center is quite unique because, first of all, you are tied to you're a leader for so many of the others on Long Island, and you do so much for people in the business community of Long Island. And you are also, Chabad is not political, but yet you know every politician from both sides, and they all respect you. It's amazing. It's the rabbi that's here. It's the rabbi. It's the rabbi. Such respect you get, and that makes me personally proud to be part of the Chabad community and to know you personally. Please tell our audience how they can get involved and learn more about the commission, because I know so many people that are watching, especially Christian Zionists, people that support common sense values and that stand with Israel and fighting anti-Semitism, are very much interested in this.
And I do appreciate everyone's support. And like you say, Cindy, there's so many people, so many good people in this world. There's more good people than all the negative people out there. And if anyone who wants to really has a complaint or feels they're being discriminated about, obviously there's the law enforcement. That's wonderful, a place to go to first. But specifically in jobs and things like that, the phone number to reach us is 516-571-0519. 571-0519. That is this commission here on Old Country Road in Mineola, and we were more than happy to take and to address it and to try to make a difference. So really, we're all in this together. We all may have titles, and It doesn't matter about our zip code or how we dress. We're all human beings. There's no pecking order amongst us. God made a wonderful world, enough room for everybody with different looks and outlooks. We're all going to the same place. And the quicker we respect each other and learn from each other, the quicker this world will be filled with goodness and kindness. And you are doing that, Cindy, just as like all the good things you're doing, and many other people. And I'm so honored to be part of your, I call it, revolution of goodness that you bring to all of us.
Well, we are all going to be together in Gan Eden, which is the Garden of Eden, and we're going to see Mashiach and peace and love and respect for all people. That was the Rebbe's message. That's what we believe in. And I know, hopefully, I'll see you tonight. I know there's a little celebration.
Yes, thank you so much again. Wishing you all the best. Thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
having me.
much. And again, the Good Deeds Thursday night. Call the Chabad of Mineola for details. And the Human Rights Commission, please help us end hate, bigotry, and anti Semitism on Long Island. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Because we were not able to get up the pictures we originally planned, I actually did not feature my hat of the week. So I'm going to do it now because it's a very special hat. As many of you are aware, yesterday was historic. The last living American, I see now the pictures are coming up. That is somebody from the Israeli Knesset. If you want to go through, I'll go through them and then I'll tell you a little bit more about my hat. Congressman Mike Lawler, a dear friend. Let's see who else we have. Emily Austin, who many of you have seen on Fox and is a spokesperson for fighting anti-Semitism. She works for the Nassau County GOP. And here I am at one of the stations that was promoting Israel. And here I am on the podium. This was sponsored by the Israeli consulate for the 77th anniversary. It was quite a night. And of course, some great Israeli food. Even the way they present hummus with grilled eggplant and pomegranate seeds and date syrup. Many of the things I discuss and I will be discussing in future shows of healthy foods, Middle Eastern foods, foods that actually relate to both the Muslim Arab community and the Israeli communities. And there it is, the plate. And here is Ophir, the General Counsel General Akunis, and he's there with a hostage and her mother who was just released. And this is, of course, a statue of Menachem Begin, one of the great Zionists of our time. And now going back to my hat, I just want to tell you this hat I am wearing in honor of the release of Eden Alexander and to remind the world we still have 58 hostages and we want them, including the 4 American bodies, and that we want to have peace in the Middle East. And this hat I actually got at a ceremony for IDF graduates, and I was invited by a family who is an American who, just like Eden, was in the IDF volunteering. And I want you to understand that these people, like Eden, are not doing this to give up American citizenship, but they're proud of both heritage together. They're proud of the great alliance we both have. And they are fighting for international democracy because Israel and America together are fighting for Western culture and civilization and democracy. And when you forget that, you forget everything. And that's why this is so important. And I'm wearing today a dog collar I received from an injured IDF soldier this year. And the necklace and earrings are from Hope Murray Designs, who designed these, took them to Israel, and gave them to injured IDF soldiers. So, Eden, we are so happy you are home. And each one of us feels some bit of pride and that we all are your family and friends. And we anxiously await the return of the other 58 hostages. And again, we thank President Donald Trump and his team for making this happen, because the previous administration did everything they can to prevent this. Don't forget that. It was under their reign and their tenure that this happened, and that they did not bring home hostages. And with that, I'm waiting to see. I believe we have our second guest who could talk more about this. Another dear friend, and someone else who is a proud Christian Zionist who stands with Israel 24/7. I think he's Jewish. I don't know. He talks so much about Israel and American Jewish issues. Congressman Anthony D'Esposito. Well, we actually can now call him Inspector General D'Esposito. He is part of the Trump administration, the Department of Labor, National Police Week. He's down there celebrating the people that really we all must thank every single day. Without policemen, we would really be in a lot of trouble, given the way our country is has been going since basically since Obama, and got really horrible during the Biden administration. So, Congressman, Inspector General Anthony, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Cindy. I hope you're doing well.
I hope you are too. I know you are busier than ever. You are everywhere. I mean, but I don't expect anything else. You started, I always say local elections count, and this was a county executive starting at a young guy going everywhere all the time and meeting everybody. So by the time he was running for national office, everybody knew who he was, and it was an easy choice. And now, of course, you're part of the administration. How does it feel to be a part of the Trump administration?
It's great. President Trump has made it very clear during his campaign and in over just his first 100 days or so, that when he says America first, he means America first. And part of that is bringing upon, and I know that he's working hard alongside our Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez DeRemer, in really welcoming the golden age of the American worker, to make sure that they're protected, make sure that they're getting fair wages, and make sure that we bring back to the United States of America manufacturing and opportunities for the American worker. And while while he does that alongside his labor secretary, I look forward, once confirmed, to be the inspector general. And people say it is a independent, which it is. It's an independent investigator that oversees each department. But I have to say that bringing upon the golden age of the American worker shouldn't be partisan. That should be American. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that we root out bad actors, that we root out corruption, that we root out fraud, and that we start investigating properly the issues that are pertaining to the Labor Department, whether it be child and human trafficking because of the nearly 15 million illegal migrants that were let into this country by the Biden administration, whether it is organized crime's influence into labor unions or work sites, whether it's unemployment fraud. We are going to root out every bit of that corruption, that fraud. We are going to conduct proper investigations, and we are going to hold people accountable so that the American worker really does enter the golden age, and that they have every opportunity to do so.
Well, the recent numbers that are coming out as far as the jobs report the last one was amazing. It was way above expectations. You want to talk a little bit about what's going on in that arena?
Yeah, I mean, listen, President Trump and our labor secretary have been doubted by the mainstream media, and they're trying to spin this that there's a they claim there was going to be a recession, or that we were in a recession. They were saying that people aren't working, people were in unemployment, and then we got the jobs numbers and realized that everything that they were trying to spew to the American people was exactly false, and the decisions that were being made by President Trump and his administration were the right ones, and were in order to put America first and to put people back to work. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And as Inspector General, it is going to be my job to make sure that those jobs remain in Americans' hand, and not being outsourced to illegals or to those trafficked into this country.
So, what do you say to people in blue states like ours, and those that are concerned that it's not maybe growing as fast, or they don't feel it as fast? Tell us what we're not seeing that you are in Washington.
Well, I think that the idea that we expect, or not we, but so much of the mainstream media and people that want to undermine President Trump and his administration, the idea that they expect things to change so drastically in 100 days, I look at as sort of insane. I mean, if you think about the work that President Trump has done in his first just over 100 days in office, I mean, he has secured our border, dropping those numbers to historic lows. We just had, like you mentioned last week, a job numbers report come out that took most Americans by surprise. Why? Because they're being lied to by the media. And he's continuing to put America first. He's traveling overseas right now. We had another hostage released just yesterday or within the last 36 hours. So, I mean, he is working so hard, so fast to really meet the promises that he made during the campaign and during right after the election. And what's happening is that the Democrats are panicking because they continue to lose sight of really what matters to the American people. Instead of trying to focus, especially here in Washington, D.C., but you mentioned blue states. And I mean, you take New York, for example. I mean, Kathy Hochul is by far and away the most inept governor that we have in the United States of America. And she continues to double down, not just on progressive ideologies, but I would argue just pure stupidity. I mean, her entire tenure has been overreach, whether it's trying to take away local zoning rights from villages and towns, whether it's congestion pricing, cashless bail. Now, I mean, we're in the process of a legal battle, which unfortunately, because of Democratic judges, we will probably lose. But the state legislature recently passed a law that all elections, local elections, so elections for your county legislator, your town councilman or councilwoman, your county executive, your DA, all those races will now be in even years. So they will be running either in a governor's election or a presidential election. And why do they want that? Because the Democrats are seeing in places like Nassau and Suffolk County, but Nassau specifically under leadership of Chairman Cairo, that, you know, you have a county with 120,000 more Democrats than Republicans. And right now, the Nassau County GOP and Republicans are in control of all 4 countywide offices, all 3 towns and 2 cities. So they can't beat us at the ballot box. So they're just going to change the laws and rewrite the rules. So Kathy Hochul continues to overreach and continues to double down on these stupid ideas. So, you know, what I say to the pundits of Donald Trump is that he's done more in his first 100 days than most presidents do in their entire tenure. And the Democrats just can't handle it. They can't come to terms with the fact that we have a president who ran a campaign, who made promises, and now is actually delivering on those promises in the first 100 days. And instead of focusing and perhaps even trying to join with Republicans and to address the issues, the border, the crime, our financial and economic stability, instead of joining forces and trying to say, listen, this is what the Americans want. Instead, they are going to ICE detention centers and breaking in and assaulting ICE agents. They are traveling to foreign countries to sit margaritas with deported criminals. That's the face of the Democratic Party. We have nearly the entire Democratic conference in the House of Representatives, including all of them from New York, including Laura Gillen and Tom Suozzi, voted against the SAVE Act a few weeks ago, which simply says in order to vote in an election in America, you need to be an American citizen. But again, the Democrats, instead of siding with the American people, they sided with migrants. They are on the wrong side of every issue. I mean, something that we've been battling locally. And I think we've been lucky in Nassau County because our county executive, Bruce Blakeman, was really on top of this issue from the ground floor. But another thing that was voted against by both of our Democratic members of Congress from Long Island, protecting girls' sports. I mean, this is an 80-20 issue, but yet they're on the wrong side of it.
Well, they're on the wrong side of a lot of things because if push comes to shove, they're going to go with their party and they're going to stay quiet on the squad. They are going to stand with AOC with all the things that she's saying. They're going to stand with hypocrites like Bernie Sanders, who has private jets and is complaining about people making money. And that's something that people don't understand. Words are one thing and actions are others. Watch the actions of these people. Their actions speak louder than their words, except, of course, for people that think that influences are important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess if being elected and winning an election is about Twitter likes and retweets, then I guess the Democrats are doing their thing. But even that, I mean, you can tell not just in places like New York, where we've historically lived in a blue state. I mean, I think that the pendulum is swinging, and people are just tired of the rhetoric. People are tired of the nonsense. They want to see people that roll up their sleeves and get the job done. They want to see people who are in their communities and listening to, we may not always agree and you may get difference of opinions, but they at least want to see their elected officials so that they can communicate with them. And unfortunately, right now, at least in Nassau County, our two members of Congress are not really in the community. They're not talking to constituents. Instead, they're setting up these makeshift town halls where they take pre-edited questions, only answer them, and then find their way out the back door. That's not how to represent the people, and I think that's why the pendulum is changing. That's why in a district like mine, even in a presidential election where the turnout was historical. I represented a district with over 70,000 more Democrats than Republicans. In 2020, Joe Biden won the 4th congressional district by 16 and a half points. And the work that we've done, engaging with the community and leading with a common sense approach, we were able in 2024, although not victorious, we still shifted that district. Kamala Harris and my opponent only won by a little over a point. I mean, that's a drastic shift and showing that people are rooting for the Republicans. We just, unfortunately, you get to a point where you run out of voters. But that's why they want to move all these elections to these even years, because that's the only time they could beat us.
So I just want to answer you with 2 points. First of all, you talk about being out there. I saw a picture of you last week. It wasn't even your picture. It was one of your neighbors. You were actually in your fireman's gear, volunteering to put out a fire in Island Park. I want you to know that when I wanted to get my inauguration tickets, and I don't know if people know how you get inauguration tickets, but regardless of who is your congressperson, Democrat or Republican, they're responsible to giving out the tickets. So like when Kathleen Rice was congresswoman, I got hers from Trump, and it was great. Laura Gillen's office was non-existent to get the tickets.
Yeah.
She refused to give Republicans tickets, or even Democrats for that matter. But here you are, you're risking your life, and you're in a public position, and you're about to be sworn in, and you were out there at a huge fire from what it sounded like, and people were like, this is Anthony. This is what he's like. What you see is what you get.
Well, that's true. I guess some people criticize me because I tell it how it is. But listen, I was always taught you never forget where you came from. And, my roots in Island Park and my community are very deep. And, being part of the Island Park Fire Department is something I cherish. Actually, Saturday night, I celebrated my 25th year in the Island Park Fire Department. So it's one of the greatest honors to have led that department from 2009 to 2016. Some of my greatest friends are from the Nassau County Fire Service. So, even with 25 years in and a little bit of a busy schedule, when the opportunity's there to help the community, you got to gear up and like you said, what you see is what you get.
And the other thing I want to talk to you about is, because it's also something you can relate to, is it National Police Week. And that Donald Trump is actually holding ceremonies. And I know Pat Reuter, our Nassau commissioner, is down there. Tell us a little bit about what is going on, because I don't recall Joe Biden doing anything like this.
Well, National Police Week has been a tradition for many, many, many years. While President Biden wasn't as welcoming to law enforcement from throughout the country. President Trump has certainly rolled out the red carpet, and obviously he's traveling this week in the Middle East, but he has opened. I know there's tons of law enforcement professionals that are doing tours of the White House. I believe that he even had the hours extended so that more law enforcement could see the White House. I was on Capitol Hill this morning with members of the Nassau County Police Department. We visited the speaker's balcony and gave them a tour of the Capitol building. And this is a time where law enforcement professionals from all 50 states gather on Capitol Hill. And yes, it's a time to converse and to talk about new technology and training opportunities. But the real purpose of National Police Week is to honor our fallen. And this is the week where the names of those men and women who died in the line of duty in the past year are inscribed at the National Law Enforcement Memorial. Tonight, there will be, hopefully weather permitting, there will be a candlelight vigil where there will be thousands, tens of thousands of people that will make their way to the National Mall, and every name of a fallen officer who died in 2024 will be read. Candles will be lit for all of them. Tomorrow, we will see. Tomorrow there'll be a parade for the pipe bands from across the country who will march on down New Jersey and then to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, where they will play in unison for the families of the fallen. And then on Thursday morning, there will be another ceremony on the lawn of the Capitol building where we once again will recite the names of the members of law enforcement that have died in the line of duty. So this week is very meaningful. It's not only an opportunity for us to say thank you to the men and women who wore the uniform, but it's an opportunity to say, that saying that I always say that, when cops take their oath of office, we take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and, of course, the communities that we defend. But we also make a solemn promise in our hearts, and that's to never forget the men and women who we serve with, who died and paid the ultimate sacrifice. And this week gives us that opportunity. It gives us the opportunity to come here and actually put our money where our mouth is, so to speak, and make people realize that the term "never forget," it's not just a catchy hashtag. It's not just something that you say when, God forbid, a cop is killed. It's something that you actually have to live. It's a promise that we make. And from Monday to Friday here in Washington, D.C., hundreds of thousands of law enforcement, both active and retired, will come upon Capitol Hill to share stories, to remember the fallen, and to honor their families.
I understand that Commissioner Ryder is putting up 4 names of officers that we lost this year that were part of 9/11. And what's really sad is that so many of the people today that are protesting and attacking police don't even know what 9/11 is about and about patriotism.
Well, not only do the people that unfortunately are protesting, and spewing anti-American pro-terrorist rhetoric, but it's unfortunate that in some schools throughout the United States of America, 9/11 is not taught either. And yes, Commissioner Ryder is here. He is, although he's our leader in Nassau County. Pat Ryder is well respected across the United States of America. He's part of the Major Cities Chiefs Conference, and I think he chairs their Intel Committee. So even coming from a place like Long Island, Commissioner Ryder certainly carries a big voice, and he will be adding names to the wall this evening, and as well as another Long Islander being added will be Jonathan Diller, who was killed in the line of duty simply because he wore the uniform, and he was shot to death by a perpetrator who was arrested nearly 20 times. And because of the failed policies and the inability to realize the deadly mistakes that Kathy Hochul and the Democratic legislator in New York State have made, Jonathan Diller's name will be added to the wall, and his wife Stephanie will be here. And it's unfortunate because these deaths, some of them, I mean, 9/11 aside, but some of these deaths could be avoided. The fact that we have individuals roaming the streets, violent individuals who've been arrested nearly 20 times, but because of our
Previous
laws that are put in
administration.
place. Yeah, no, well, really, not even the previous administration. I mean, Kathy Hochul and the New York State Legislature are the ones that really are to blame for this. But the fact that we allow criminals and we allow this revolving door of justice. We are lucky in Nassau County to have people that stand with law enforcement who represent law and order. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you should lay your head on your pillow every night, thanking God that Annie Donnelly is our district attorney, because if it were the alternative, Nassau County would be a much less safer place.
Well, it's because of the leadership in Nassau County that people are looking. I mean, there's lots of rumors that maybe Bruce Blakeman is looking to run for governor. There's so many other rumors going around. So there's rumors about you. But first, we're going to get you into this job, and many others. People are looking at a lot of our elected officials on Nassau for national leadership, not just in government, but in organizations and leadership and being a spokesperson for so many different arenas. We're so lucky we are here. All we have to do is take a train ride into the city and we see what a difference Republican versus Democratic leadership is.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, listen, we're blessed that we have hardworking, common sense leaders, and I think that is clear. That the fact that we have elected officials and former elected officials that whose names are rumored for different positions is important. And listen, at the end of the day, what we need to focus on is making sure that this November we reelect Bruce Blakeman, our county executive, that we elect John Ferretti, our town supervisor, that our DA, Annie Donnelly, is reelected, and our entire slate, because they are the common sense approach, the ones who have made Nassau County the safest county in America. And that's critically important. And then, once we get past this November, we could focus on 2026 and flipping those congressional seats back. And of course, taking the governor's mansion. And quite frankly, any of the individuals mentioned, I am extremely close with all of them. And the fact that the Republican Party has such leadership, such dynamic personalities, who could possibly be our gubernatorial candidates, I think is absolutely awesome. But what we need to focus on is to make sure that we're united. We can't deal with some messy, expensive primary. We need to save and utilize all our resources for one purpose, and that is to make sure that Kathy Hochul is no longer the governor of the state of New York.
So I have a question for you, since you've been in Washington and you were actually in the House of Representatives. People say that it's impossible for some seats to change. And, we all talk about term limits, and we keep talking about, well, Jerry Nadler's seat or Dan Goldman or, Maxine Waters. How can we make a difference? What is the ingredient that we need, that we are missing in our Republican national, statewide, local? What is that missing ingredient to make the recipe perfect to actually take those seats?
I mean, listen, I think some of those seats are very difficult. I think that the focus really perhaps should be not about putting a Republican there, although we would love to, and I would love to replace especially Dan Goldman and Jerry Nadler with Republicans. But I think that the Democratic Party, I think it tells the story of the Democratic Party. The fact that they're putting progressive lunatics in those seats tells you that they're not listening to the American people. There's an opportunity to put a Democrat there that's more moderate, who could work with Republicans to get things done. But instead, they continue to put these firebrands of Democratic progressive policies. And I think that, listen, we have to focus on the opportunities that we have, whether it's on Long Island, whether it's up in where Mike Lawler's area is, or where Mark Molinaro represented. We know what it takes to win those seats. We know the steps that need to be taken and the plans that need to be made and the money that needs to be raised. But unfortunately, I mean, take 2024, for example. Our race, again, over 70,000 more Democrats. They spent over $30 million against me. So they are not only outraising us, but they're outspending us. And I think the national Republicans, and I think this is something that President Trump and his team is focused on. They are focused on raising that money and spending that money in places so that you can start flipping these seats back, because the work that President Trump is doing in now the first 115, 120 days is making America safe again, is making America profitable again, is putting America first. But we need to continue this. And the last thing that President Trump needs is to get into the midterms and come out with a Democratic House or a Democratic Senate, or God forbid both, because that will truly derail the work that he wants to do. So the focus needs to be, we know the map. We know the seats that we can win. We know the seats that are potentially flippable with the right candidate. And I think, listen, we take what we learned here. You find a candidate who is really embedded in the community, that is willing to work his or her butt off every single day. And that they don't forget where they came from. It's I see it often here that people get elected and they forget that they have to actually go home to their districts to talk to their constituents. They think Washington, D.C. is their new district. I mean, not to be critical, but, look at our representative now in the 4th Congressional District. Laura Gillen is nowhere to be found. She is not going to community events. She's not talking. She's not talking to stakeholders. When there is, you talk about, big issues that are happening. Take down on the South Shore, we're fighting offshore wind and lithium battery plants being put in place, and she is silent. And I've said over and over again that silence is, if you're silent, you're complicit. So it's just, I think that the people see that. It's failure from Jump Street, and I truly believe that in 2026, especially with a strong candidate at the top for governor, we can flip some of these seats back, and we can make sure that President
pick up
Trump,
some. The way the economy is going, if the stock market continues the way it's going, there's no reason why we can't pick up 3 or 4 seats.
Yep, and we just have to be smart about it. We have to stay united. We have to make sure that we're raising the money. And we have to continue to pound the pavement. And, that's something that I've been doing, even not in elected office. I make sure that I think I go to more community events now than I did when I was elected. And that's what people need to do.
And I'm sure I'm going to see you at a couple this week. I am sitting here in the America First warehouse. We are all big Trump supporters. We are all staunch Republicans, staunch conservative, big MAGA. This is Nick LaLotta's territory, and I know you're close with him. We want you guys to know this place is open to you guys. We want all of you to know, from the most local level to the highest ones we have. Take advantage here. We are here to be volunteers for you and to help you get out the word. There is no I in team.
That's for sure. And, I'm glad you said that, because I think that one of the things moving forward that's so critically important to our success and President Trump's success is making sure that, we've talked about this, and it's historical data. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Obviously, presidential turnout is always higher than any other election. So that's why we call people 1 of 4 voters or 2 of 4 voters. And it talks about how often you vote. There are people who vote in every election. There are people who only vote in the even years for governor or president. But we need to really do a good job and focus our efforts on the fact that Trump supporters need to come out in all years. They need to come out in the off years, in the governor's years, because that's the way that we are going to overcome the Democrats just changing the rules. If we continue to come out And that's why, in Nassau County, we work so hard in voter turnout. I mean, we literally knock thousands of doors a weekend, because we want to get people out to the polls and to vote. And that's something we do every year, not just in presidential years, but everyone there at the America First Warehouse, they need to focus on the issue of dragging and bringing out the Trump voters in all 4
Well,
years.
they actually do. And we're going to wrap this up. I just want to say one thing. Here's the biggest misconception. If you're a Trump supporter, you do not vote for President Trump and then every other year blue down ballot. You vote red down ballot, because having everybody else on local and state levels, Democrats, does not help America First values, common sense values. Quickly tell everybody where they can reach out to you, and thank you so much, because we're going to have to go into our closing.
Thanks, Cindy. Yeah, everybody can reach me. I'm on Facebook, Anthony D'Esposito, X, and Instagram at Anthony Despo. I look forward to talking. If anybody has any media inquiries, it is info@teamdesposito.com.
Again, thank you so much. I'm sure I'm going to see you a lot. Hopefully, I'll see you Sunday in the parade.
Absolutely.
And again, it is extremely important to vote red down ballot every single year. Local elections count. Inspector General Anthony D'Esposito, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more from you, and you're always welcome back.
Thanks, Cindy. Be well.
And now, with our closing pearls of wisdom, it is National Women's Health Week, and President Trump and the First Lady have made this a priority because they believe by advancing food transparency, promoting physical fitness, and restoring health education, the goal is to improve the quality of life for women of all ages, all backgrounds, and even all political affiliations, because this is common sense. And I have a solution for you. Many of you were talking about the tariffs, MAHA, and the cost of products. I have one simple solution for you, and I'm going to share it with you right now. And from now on, every closing is going to include a highlight product of the week, because there's no reason for you to worry about paying extra money, buying something with chemicals that make you sick, or even worrying about inconvenience when it's delivered to your home. This is already my second box this month from the Wellness Store. And you can find out about all the products by reaching out to me on all my social media and through the Jewess Patriot. And I'm going to share with you how many things I bought that you're not even aware of that have so many toxic chemicals. I just opened this because I didn't want to waste time with the opening here, but I haven't even seen what came. These are makeup swipes. Do you know how much makeup that you put on your face has ingredients that are toxic, that cause skin cancer and other problems? Also, using the right cleaner and how to clean it makes a difference. And by simply, I used to use all those scrubs and no more. I use these pads. And they're all made in America. Support American businesses, small business owners that work together with the wellness company. How many of you have dry skin and you're told by your doctors to go buy those big bottles that look like this in CVS and in Walmart, in Costco? Well, this has been tested against all those brands that you think are important. I'm not going to mention the competition, but if you reach out to me, I will show you, I will hand you very simple facts that compare the products. Not only is this product fantastic, but it also is cheaper than if you bought it even in bulk by those Sam's and BJ's, because we've done the comparisons. And a little bit goes a long way. How many of you buy products that have multi-uses? Well, this is not only an amazing non-toxic room freshener, but it also is used to stop static on your clothing. And these products are all American made, non toxic, and tariff free, delivered to your home within 3 days. How simple and wonderful is that? There are over 400 products in the line, from households to cosmetics, baby products. Do you know how many baby products are made with toxic ingredients and warnings that where and how they should be used? You don't have to worry from the Wellness Center. It's all been tested and approved through multi-scientific studies. How many of you, I mean, this whole box is full. Of course, it's that time of year in New York. Sunscreen, a 50. Good for all skin types, non-toxic. You don't have to worry about the toxins. You know, I always joke that when I was a little girl, everybody used to get the Bain de Soleil Saint-Tropez tan and wore the greasiest oils. Well, today they make us wear so many sunscreens and there's more skin cancer. So something's not making sense. Something's just not working out. Well, this box is full. I could go on and on. Let's see. Makeup. More makeup came. Oh, this is really important. How many of you use Windexes and Lysols? Did you ever look at the back of any of those cleaners and read all the instructions and all the warnings? This is Tough and Tender. It replaces many, many cleansers. It's concentrated. So all you need is a little bit, and you put them in reusable bottles because we believe in preserving the environment. And this will last several months in a big home, used daily. There's so much more I could discuss, and I love to discuss with you. But the most important thing is to realize that this is delivered to your home. You don't have to worry about long lines or running out of product. This is all fresh made. This is all non-toxic, tariff-free, supporting patriots. And the owners of the company have owned this company for 40 years, and they give back to organizations and people like police and veterans, nurses. They believe in America first. And we're going to close the show saying this to you. America first, regardless of anything else, is what brings us all together. This is Right for America. Issues that unite, don't ignite. I am your host, Cindy Gross. There's a lot of information here. We'll see you next week. We're going to continue with Jewish Heritage Month and other timely issues. Please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, X, and download the shows and share them through Rumble, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Apple Podcast, and any major podcast outlet you get your shows from. Thank you so much.